next speaker, Mr. Yernazar Kumar, is a PhD candidate in KIMEP University's Public and Municipal Administration program. He has written on environmental issues such as environmental awareness, eco-activism, environmental policy, and eco-tourism. He will deliver a presentation titled An Analysis of Environmental Awareness Aspects in Kazakhstan.
I didn't present it. Okay. Should I press this to move on?
Yes, yes, it should work, yeah.
Okay, we'll try. Okay, guys. I used to also be involved in planting trees 2-3 years ago, but unfortunately I've seen the same problem. We plant trees, but the human nature is a bit lazy. You know that. So some people, 80% of those who were actually involved in this project 3 years ago, they planted trees, but they didn't water it the second time, third time. So I've noticed it myself. I came back to the same place where I've planted it, and most of them died out. So it's about this. It's about incentives. It's called nudging, okay? So maybe the solution for this problem with the lack of people coming back to plant or water them is at least giving them a message on an email, reminding them, hey, actually that's your son, that's your daughter, that's actually your child. So if you could plant this, it would help not only you, but also you could teach others. So maybe this solution could work.
No, it's money.
It's money, I understand, yes, but...
You could gamify it.
Okay. So, my name is Yernazar. Okay? Yernazar. Come. So, how should I do that? That's it? How do we move on? Ah, okay, good. Okay, I got it. So, as you all know, there are many environmental problems in Kazakhstan, ranging from biodiversity issue to water pollution issue, water deficiency issue, ecotourism issue itself, and so on. But what does environmental awareness initiatives try to do? They try to raise awareness about these issues, correct? It's not only the government that does it, but also the civil society organizations, be it UNDP, be it CARECO, be it our international or local organizations. Okay? By definition, the environmental awareness is defined according to this scholar as state of person's awareness about the environment and its problems. Okay? There are many definitions. I'm not going to lay them out for you, but that's the whole concept of it. And the environment awareness research has been around already maybe to 60 to 70 years in the academia. So the research goes on about talking about production aspects, ecological education process, or within the realm of social media and traditional media and how it affects us. Okay? There are many environmental awareness raising campaigns around the world. Okay? For instance, one of them concerns increasing the pro-environmental knowledge among the society. Okay? Launch of specific projects, training and retraining of ecological specialists and teachers, that is also involved. Basically increasing the knowledge of faculty members, of teachers or professors. And support for environmental education process in primary, secondary, and tertiary schools. Okay? So, in this case, environmental education is an attempt to re-educate public, okay? To gain, cultivate, develop pre-environmental competences, knowledge, and practical skills. Okay? Practical skills are, I think, one of the most difficult ones to develop. Okay? So, regarding the history and state of NGOs, in Kazakhstan there were several, actually not several, there were many projects related to raising environmental awareness, particularly by the NGO in the early 1990s. Okay? So, one of them, for instance, by the NGO is so-called state support for preschool primary education. So what they did trips, excursions to recreation centers and retrained teachers. Okay, that's one of the measures that the NGO projects did. This also concerns state support for secondary education, inclusion of courses such as botany, ecology, zoology, natural history in among university students and school students. Okay, and of course some other small-scale civil society organization projects by the UNDP. Formation of local clubs, for instance, the so-called Karaganda Edelweiss organization was formed in the early 1990s. I don't know how it's now being maintained. I couldn't get any information on that. And other projects by the other NGOs, for instance, SPARE program in 2001, GLOBE program, and other small-scale projects financed by UNDP, ECO-AIR. Okay. As of now, 2021 data, there are 45 higher education institutions that prepare specialists in environmental studies or ecology in Kazakhstan. Since 2018, there are more than or around 53 environmental-related organizations that operate in Kazakhstan. So just sinker this information into your mind, just 53. In terms of research progress in Kazakhstan, just within the academia, environmental awareness research, I would say, is abundant, but not enough. Okay, so some of the research focus on media, on national policy, effectiveness of pedagogical teaching. That's what I've noticed among Kazakh and Russian scholars. They try to talk more about pedagogical teaching rather than practical aspects of environmental awareness. That's what I've noticed. Okay, more about theoretical aspects. This is also one of the negative sides of research among local scholars. Access to environmental information to public community. There are very few, 4 to 5 research on this topic. Study of environmental code of Republic of Kazakhstan. So how basically the new environmental code affects legislations, etc., and public policies. And of course, some of the literature reviews that I've done shown that there are at least 82 environmental awareness studies in Kazakhstan, according to research, and roughly half focused on aspects of environmental education, followed by ecological environmental culture. However, their quality is not high enough to depict the practical aspects. Okay, so that's what I've noticed. So let's move on. So what does my doctoral dissertation topic focus on? It focuses basically on analysis of environmental awareness. From my readings and the literature I've done, I focused my awareness, environmental awareness aspects on 4 dimensions. First, cognitive dimension. It measures aggregate environmental knowledge and information that an individual possesses. For that, I have prepared self-administered questions. Okay, I've done a survey. I'll come to that a bit later. Affective dimension. This focuses on the ecological beliefs and values of people. So I measured this as well. Third, cognitive dimension. Willingness, motivation for pro-environmental action. This means environmental activism level, okay? Altruistic dimension, I assessed the environmental level of environmental concern for environmental issues in Kazakhstan. And for that, I've used specific scale. So what methods did I use? I used the online survey, and I've collected so far, I'll come to it later, I think more than 1,200 university students and 1,000 employees from government sector, civil society sector, and private sector. Okay, I've online surveyed university students from this list. As a general population, I included these people in brackets. Prepared the Google form by myself, so it contained 85 questions. I was surprised that people actually answered 85 questions. Within the first month, I got maybe 400 responses. It was very amazing for me because I didn't expect that much. And so basically, that's how many questions. And the online interviews, I've conducted them with government experts, civil society experts, young eco-activists, and professors. Okay? That's how many responses I got, and by university students and by general population. So let me quickly talk to you about the scale that I've used, and then I will come to the results section. Okay. So first model that I've used was so-called expanded ecological value scale model. This assessed the ecological values and beliefs of people. Okay. It's a 6-item NEP scale kind of. It's categorized into 3 subgroups. Either a person is anti-ecological, mid-ecological, or pro-ecological. Okay? Scale measurements were 1 to 5. It was previously used in New Zealand because New Zealand wanted to understand how the level of public support for environmental public policies. So that's why they conducted this research, and I've used their model. So this is what the item includes. So I've gave a statement, and they had to give from 1 to 5 agree, disagree. Balance of nature is very delicate and easily upset. 15 statements, and they had to give their answers to it. Okay. Regarding environmental risk perception scale, I've used a different model for that from Walsh, Nashandi, and McLachlan from 2000. Okay. It consists of 26 items, 26 different environmental problems that people had to assess. They were categorized into 3 groups: industrial anthropogenic risks, natural disaster risks, and everyday life risks. And they had to give a level of threat for them. So low level threat, middle level threat, or high level threat for each of the environmental risks. And these are the environmental risks that they had to assess: chemical dumps, radioactive fallout, contamination, changes to ozone layer caused by pollution. So there are a lot of environmental problems that actually I didn't know about when I first read about this. Okay, visual pollution. Interesting. Number of people, overcrowding is also included as environmental problem. I don't know. I would say I agree with it. At the beginning I disagreed, but I agree with it. Smoking in public buildings. No one mentioned this. My father smokes at home. I really don't like it. I try to tell him, hey, why are you smoking? You're already that old. He tells me, it's a habit. It's not easy to get rid of. You know, some people, it's not possible to change minds of people. It's very difficult. And the last model that I've used was a so-called environmental scale, action scale model, EAS model. For that, I measured the level of engagement and civic actions for collective impact on environmental issues. Basically, environmental activism. Okay, scale I've used, and the scales were divided into participatory action items, which represented environmental actions such as participation in community events, etc., and leadership action items. Assess the individual's active involvement in environmental activism, such as organizing petition. Very difficult to do, especially Kökjay Law project that was here in Almaty was a successful one, successful case study for a petition. Okay? And of course, they had to, at the end, everyone, the aggregate result gave me the level of university students if they are low ecological activist level, middle ecological activist level, or high ecological activist level. Okay, these are the items. So that's what I had to do. And in terms of 11 open-ended questions for the expert interviews, I've asked them these questions. Conducted mostly with Zoom, online. Okay? I didn't meet them. Okay, in terms of results section, now let's go to the important part. So you know got the gist. So let me tell you about the result. I asked them a simple statement. I am concerned about the environment in Kazakhstan. And most of the university students mentioned that 55% strongly agreed. However, the adult population, the general population that work, they said 71% have strongly agreed with that. Okay? That was an interesting fact to know. Among university students, they believe that industrial and anthropogenic environmental risks have high level threat, 76%. So almost identical. Okay? Among group 2, the general population, they believe the same. Now let me show you something interesting. So one of the most concerned environmental risk perception items among university students is pollution from cars, factories, followed by sea and lake pollution, followed by impure drinking water, water shortage, visual pollution, forest cutting. Yeah, we didn't mention this. Climate change impacts, Probably climate change impact would be number one in Europe. Probably. Because I used to live in Europe, in Germany, and they constantly talk about climate change issues. Okay? Chemical dumps, general water and air pollution, and then air pollution from waste.
However, among the adult population, it's water shortage. Number one. I agree with that.
I think water shortage will be one of the biggest problems and threats in the near 20 years of future in Kazakhstan. In Central Asia, followed by impure drinking water, visual pollution, forest cutting, chemical dumps, etc. Almost the same. The exception is that they mentioned ozone layer. In terms of expanded ecological value scale, okay? According to the results I've got, university students, 57% were mid-ecological. So they, to a certain degree, agreed with the statements that I've mentioned. However, adult population was highly pro-ecological, 66%, compared to 33% among university students. I didn't expect this result, but it was interesting. In terms of environmental action scale model and these results, again, among university students, there's university, okay, are here. Among university students, they were highly active, okay? Sorry, highly inactive, kind of confused. Adults are more active in terms of showing their environmental activism level compared to university students. Again, that surprised me. So, in terms of the interviews, since I've collected from 5 different groups, I will just highlight you one of the main takeaways from what the eco-activists mentioned. Okay, some eco-activists have stated that the importance of ecological education still plays an important role in Kazakhstan. Okay, they mentioned the 5 environmental problems to be the most urgent one within the next 20 years. Air pollution, effects on public health. Actually, I'm a runner, so I do marathons. And sometimes when I run 10 kilometers, maybe each second, third day, I feel heavy burden. Actually, when I breathe, maybe you notice that too here in Almaty. And it really feels like as if something is inside your lung. You can't breathe. So probably this is one of the reasons why it's number one. Solid waste management problem, composition of hazardous waste, and biolandfills. We don't have a lot of biolandfills here in Almaty, probably because of that. Deficiency of water resources, transboundary river problems, soil erosion, and low level of ecological culture, mentioned as last. I don't know why, but interesting. Pointed out that it should be pointed out that many citizens were not aware of their rights, according to the environmental code. So a lot of citizens here in Kazakhstan were not aware of the new environmental code that has been published. So probably it would be interesting for them to read, just for themselves to be more informed about this issue. And I've asked them the question, has the level of environmental awareness improved since 1990? 80% agreed, yes, it did improve. However, 2 said no, it didn't. Okay? 7 out of 10 were not aware of any environmental awareness research or projects. I don't know why. Half of eco-activists were aware of government-initiated environmental programs and projects, while the others weren't aware of it. Okay? And some key takeaways, again, just to wrap it up for you. In terms of EEV results, 60% of adults possess pro-ecological level, compared to 33% among university students. Okay, one fact. EAS results, in terms of environmental action scale results. Overall, adults are more environmentally active than university students in Kazakhstan. When 79% of university students possess a low ecological activist level, compared to 57% among adults. Moreover, 9% of total respondents among adults possess high ecological activist level, compared to 33% among university students. Okay? In terms of EAE results, adults are more strongly concerned about the environmental issues in Kazakhstan than university students. Okay? It is worth noting that university students' top 3 environmental risks differ from those presented by the adult population. According to this researcher, I like to quote what he said: environmentally aware and empowered youth serves the society as one of the strongest agents for positive change. In long-term objectives, maybe not short-term, long-term objectives to lead and create a more pro-ecological culture. Okay? And so far, I've worked on these papers that were published, and I've gained a lot of knowledge on these issues, and that's why I'm standing here. And let's go back. And these are the papers that I'm currently working on, and hope that I will be publishing a few more. In the future, less focus on theoretical, but more focus probably on practical, because that's more interesting. Okay, thank you.